Ryan Knows Tech here, back on the E39 Source channel. I'm going to make a video of a tool that I got for this car. I believe it works on just about any BMW. This is called the Peake Research. It's a code reader. So if you were to get a light on your dash, say the check engine light, which would appear in this little block of lights over here, or I'm trying to think, oil lights, stuff like that, anything but the airbag light. The airbag light actually requires a separate tool that I believe Peake Research does offer. This tool, which comes in this little box here, is going to aid you in figuring out why the light's on, and you can actually reset it or turn it off. So this is the R5/FCX-3 model. It's the better model. The R5 is just way more basic. I don't know if it allows you to reset. From 1987 to 2000, it actually uses a different connector. It's found under the hood. It's called the 20-pin diagnostic connector here. It's under the hood. I'll show you in just a few minutes. You take that cap off, the tool fits inside there. Then it's got a small LCD panel on the front that will read you the codes. If you have a after production, at least on the E39, after September of 2000 model, you actually use what's called the OBD2, which is, if I can find that page, down here by your pedals. You can actually buy an adapter, or I think there's a separate tool. I have that as well. It's under a little cover down here. You open that up and that's in there. That's a different method of diagnosis, and from what I understand, it's not as good. You get different codes that maybe aren't as specific and are more difficult to work with. However, that's what they've moved to for some reason. So this tool is the R5 and FCX-3 that works under the hood. Here's the functions, the different things you can do. You can read the fault codes, which is FC. The MIL is actually CE, or check engine light. That'll allow you to reset that. OL is oil service, and then there's an inspection reset, and then those are only on 12 cylinders down there. So maybe the E38 750, or I believe the 8 series, the 850 had that V12 engine in it. So you can use those two functions for those engines. If you're working with a V8 or straight 6, you can use these functions up here to do different things. So as you can see, I've got a service engine soon light on here. The engine's not on, so that'll probably be on any car if you put your key in position too. But if I were to turn on the engine, the light would stay on. Every couple days, my light comes on due to the carbon buildup, the infamous carbon buildup problem on the E39 M5, or at least the pre-2002 models. I have worked with BMW to do all the steps possible to get that to go away. The engine was pulled at 100,000 miles and the channels had been cleaned out. It worked for a while. Now it's back. I ran the solution through the engine. It still comes on every couple days. However, it has no effect on performance or anything. It's strictly emissions. So I am going to do a reset of that light in this video. So here is the actual tool in this little pouch, just a plastic thing. This is pretty expensive, but if you have one of these cars with as many miles on it and the age that these cars are at this point, you probably would be better off to buy one of these. You can do a lot with it in the future. Save you a lot of money from going to BMW. They charge a very, very nominal fee to diagnose your lights and reset them. So this tool will quickly pay itself off if you use it enough. Notice the black plastic thing in the middle. That just assures that you line it up straight so you can't screw that up. In the diagnostics port, kind of tells you what to do here and how to read it. And then this is the LCD screen on the front, as well as the select button, which goes between different functions, and then the go executes the functions. Referencing back to the manual that came with the tool, it is mostly just an index of all the codes that you get. When you go to the fault code and you press go for the first time, it tells you what table to refer to. For example, air code, let's see, we'll find an air code here, like 41 may be different in table K7 than it is in table K12. The E39 M5, at least mine, uses table, I think it's 18. That's another thing I should mention. I think they have a diagram in here. A B and a 8 look very similar, or a 6 and a B look very similar. The 6 is on the left here, if I can find it, and the B is on the right. So notice the difference between those two characters. So 6 means code, and then you have that. So I'll take you out to the front of the car and I'll show you how that works. To start using the car, you want to have your key in position 2, which turns on all the lights just before you turn the engine. Do not do this with the engine on. You notice the lights come on. Obviously from here, it's a simple process of opening the hood, coming out to the front of the vehicle, and locating the diagnostics port. I will apologize, it's very windy out here today in Ohio. We've actually got some pretty decent weather. It's about 55 degrees and the sun is out. So that's why I'm doing this today. But mine is right over here. This is just the dust cap. It's on the left side of the engine. This unscrews pretty easily, lifts up, and then it's held on by some plastic here so you won't lose it. Notice there's pins in there that assure the computer system that it is screwed down. I don't think it likes it if you were to take that off. So we kind of just tuck that over here to the side somehow. Just put it down there, out of the way. Take our tool. Notice that black plastic thing that I showed you before is going to line up inside that. Depending on the orientation, your screen may be completely backwards. Mine happens to line up pretty well. And then the flickering is just a trick of the camera because the refresh rate on the camera is more than the refresh rate of the actual reader. But it is giving me the first function here, which is FC, if you can read that. So that'll pull the fault codes. So we'll hit go. It'll take several seconds, 5 or 10 seconds, to read the information off the computer. The first thing it's going to tell me is the table that I should refer to in the manual, which happens to be 1B for this car. We'll click go again, and there's my first code, which is AA. The secondary air quality or flow is too low, which is the carbon buildup. It's been around on this car for years. We click go again. If there were any other codes, I would get more codes, but there's not. So 2 dashed lines indicate that that's the only code present right now. Hit go again. It takes me back to the menu. So then I'll hit select to go to the next function, which is CE, go to execute, and then I'll take a couple seconds and actually reset the check engine light, which I do every couple days when it comes on because I don't want to look at it. So now that's gone. We'll hit go, back to the menu, fault codes, check engine. OL is your oil. If you just put new oil in your car and you want to reset the little timer that keeps track of the conditions and how many miles you put on between oil changes, you could reset that. Then there's that for inspection, and then you're looking at the V12 options, F11 and C11, whatever those are for V12 engines. And then there's an H function, whatever that is. So now we're back to the fault code reader. When you're done, never pull this out when you're executing any commands. I kind of just put my hand on the airbox cover to leverage it and pull it straight out, and you're done. Make sure you screw that back in, and that should be all you need to do. As you can see now, the light in the vehicle is off, and it probably won't come back on for hopefully a few days or a week now until it figures out that my carbon buildup issue is still somewhat present. So that's really it. This is a very valuable, very useful tool that I think can save a lot of people a lot of money if you were to purchase one and use one. I got one on Amazon. I think I paid around $180 for it, and it has definitely saved me that, and one, not having to look at the annoying orange light down there. And two, in the future, if something comes up, I can easily pull the code, reference it to one of the tables in the book, and they actually give you plenty of information of what the issue may be. I'll navigate to my code table, which I think is on page 18. I've used this quite a bit. There it is, table 18 and 1B. If I were to come over here and find AA, which is my secondary air, you can see AA is right there, secondary air system, flow too low. It's got tons of codes in here for ignition problems, spark plugs, anything that the computer finds wrong to trip the light, it'll tell you what the issue is from here. Then if you're comfortable doing it yourself, you could just buy the part online, put it in, and save a lot of money instead of having to go to BMW for service. The tool itself is very compact and it fits pretty well in the glove box, so I find that's a really easy place to keep it if you're ever to need it. Fits really well right in there. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope I helped you in the decision to buy or not to buy and how to use the Peake R5/FCX-3 code reader for just about any BMW. Thanks for watching and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more content. Bye-bye.